So I can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me, and I can't hold it much longer. Gotta let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Happy Friday, about that big weekend. It is FG Live, running on Stadium right now. Scott Braun, Erik, Kratz, Todd Father, and any big Labor Day weekend plans, Todd Father? You got any big games?
No, yeah, actually, you bring that up. It's funny. A couple of days ago, we had some money left over for the basketball team. We have a little basketball tomorrow. 3 games, 1, 3, and 5. Getting the travel team back together with my son, and then I got a party on Sunday down here in Lavalette on the water. So with my cousin. So we'll have a good time.
Solid. Kratz?
Yeah, we're going down the shore. It's going to be great.
DTS. Love it. I wish I was doing the same. All right, so let's get right into action here. First off, Ken Rosenthal is going to join us soon on, do you like this name, Dump Deadline Day? Because, I mean, you're dumping players. You're getting nothing back. To me, that's what a dump in baseball is all about. You cool with Dump Deadline?
I like it. It seems like, the football players cutting their players, and then it's dump day. So, yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Not bad.
Okay.
I'll call it try hard trade deadline. Because, you guys are all tryhards. You want my players. We don't want to try. We're just going to lose, even though we're totally out of it. And now we get to circumvent the rules that are put out there.
Yeah, this is not what it was made for. So the Angels, though, will get under the luxury tax, and they will probably, yay, good job, Artie. And they will probably get a second-round pick instead of a fourth-round pick for the loss of Shohei Ohtani in the offseason. The percentage chance has gone below 0 that he will be returning to the ball club at this point. But we'll talk to Ken. Then Brent Suter is going to join us. And also DJ Stewart will be our PG Player of the Week. So looking forward to that. He had the game of his life a couple days ago. DJ on the Mets right now. So let's charge the damn mound and let's talk about the playoffs. Because guess what? Top Father, the playoffs started last night. Did you get the memo, man?
The playoffs?
Playoffs, baby. They started last night. Braves-Dodgers was a legit playoff game. I watched that thing thinking, wait a second. You would get lost for a moment in time and go, oh yeah, it's not October. It's sold out. 2 best records in baseball. Absolute thriller. Braves jump out early. Acuña hits a grand slam. Mookie's like, bam, I got 2 homers for you. Dodgers end up falling short, although Max Muncy didn't miss by too much. You get a little more of the bat on that changeup, on that 3-1 pitch in the 9th from Raisel Iglesias, and the Dodgers are taking game 1 of this 4-round heavyweight battle. So were you entertained?
I was very entertained. 60 and 30. I need 10 more stolen bases, big dog, to make my my pick come true. I don't know if it's going to happen. They might slow down because they're going to win this division pretty soon. But
he's at 62.
Awesome. All right, 62. Okay, all right, we're pushing.
He swiped it back in the 9th.
But yeah, I'm entertained, man. Ronald Acuña. I saw the betting odds. He went down. Mookie started going up. I said, I don't know about that. I don't know. So Ronald Acuña pretty much secured it yesterday, but can it change? Of course it can change. So right now, Acuña's back in the driver's seat, especially against Mookie, even though he had 2. I mean, this is crazy. The best guys are playing their best brand of baseball right now in a packed house. This could be the NL CS. This could be who's going to make it to the World Series. These games right here in about a month and a half, and I'm excited about it. I'm all for it.
I think the only back and forth was between Mookie and Acuña because it was like, I mean, grand slam on the heater up after Acuña starts with a rocket in the first. And then Betts was like, oh, wait, I'm going to bring my team back. And to me, out of this first game, obviously we got 3 more. I wish we had shows on the weekend so that we could see this whole thing. To me, the whole no MVP chance in Dodger Stadium for Acuña, I'm good with that. Hey, look, he's done great. 30 and 62 now is unbelievable. But to me, if I'm the Braves, I just took my number 1 going up against, because I think Strider, I mean, maybe people might think Elder, but I don't, if Elder's your guy, Strider's your number 1 up against a guy with the Dodgers who's fighting for a spot. So you're supposed to hit that guy. He's fighting for a spot in that postseason rotation. And they almost beat him. So to me, the Braves, they won. A win is a win is a win. The Braves need to make sure that they get their game tight because they're walking a few too many guys. You're going up. That was essentially like a 4 or a 5 in the Dodgers rotation going up against your number 1. This is the game. That was the game they should have won. They showed me a little something. They showed a little weakness there, but they still won the game.
I agree. I think that the Dodgers are showing that they're just as much of a threat in the National League right now. You're right. I mean, Strider's there 1, dude. Stuff-wise, he's there 1. And he had some dominant innings, 9 strikeouts. He had 2, I think it was the second and the 4th inning, striking out the side. So there's dominance there. But the Braves can overcome that, especially with Mookie and Freddie. I mean, there's other length in that lineup, but Mookie and Freddie setting the tone right away in their first inning. They scored a run. Both of them had knocks. Mookie takes that 99 off the edge of the plate from Strider and goes oppo. And then later on, what was that, in the 7th against Joe Jimenez? He pulls a bad boy. Like, damn, he's got it all going right now. He had one of the most ridiculous months that we've seen in some time, over 50 hits. He was hitting like close to 500 for the entire damn month. And, Kratz, you'd get a kick out of this. I watched the whole post-game show for the Dodgers, and they go to the clubhouse. And then, you have the press scrum asking questions to Mookie. And one of the dudes from some local place was like, I know you wouldn't necessarily change your approach for this, but do you feel like you are playing against Acuña? Like it's you against him? And I'm like, oh my God. Sorry, I got to point that one out. And Mookie's like, nah. He's like, and Mookie's super cool. And he's actually become an even better post-game interview because he knows what he's doing now. He's doing, his own little show. So he's like, yeah, I'm playing against the Braves, not against Acuña, so because they kept asking him questions, which is fine. You're going to get that. You got the 2 MVPs facing off, but that particularly staged question had me laughing at 1:45 in the morning.
Yeah, not. I didn't hear that interview, but that's funny. It's like the whole like what did Harper say? That's a clown question, bro. No, he's not playing. He's not playing against him, but man, he is making a run at it. And with him and Freddie at the top of the lineup, Strider, all the strikeouts that the Braves had last night, they didn't strike those 2 guys out one time. So while Betts and Freeman are not trying to, beat out Acuña here, they're trying to beat the Braves. I don't know that the Braves have an answer for those guys. They are that's what I'm interested to see. That's the competition. That's the matchups that I want to see the next 3 games, because I don't know that they have an answer for those guys, and the rest of the lineup's going to start to continually carry it. So I'm pro Dodger right now for sure. These Braves have their hands full.
And also there was love in the air, as Matt Olson called it. They asked how Acuña went from basically no sleep to casually having a wedding and then hitting a grand slam, leading his team to a dub. he got married. His fiance had to, I don't know how to explain this well with the visa. Oh, actually, let's throw the tweet up there so that I don't have to explain it, how all this stuff works. But Acuña Jr. did get married. He's got some kids, and they just casually threw that in there while he had his biggest series of the regular season to get through. So Alden Gonzalez providing a little more context for us. He said Acuña planned to get married in the offseason, but his fiance's visa was set to expire, keeping her and the kids away for 3 months. He wanted them there for the stretch run. An LA wedding was arranged in 24 hours, and then Acuña made history. Wow.
He made history twice. He got married and made history for his family. Got married and then did what he did. I mean, that's unbelievable. I think who said something? Matt Olson said something too as well. He said, I'm about to get my vows renewed after all the success he had yesterday. I found that pretty cool, man. Look at that. Hey, listen, that's how all weddings should be, man. Shirt, jeans, just chilling with the boys. I'm sure late last night they had a couple more sips of whatever they had. The power of love. I don't know. Olsen said, I'm going to renew my vows tomorrow. And if he did, guess what? I am going to take it to the house. Home run for Olsen today.
Home run.
But it's contingent on him renewing the vows, right?
Yeah, it's contagious too, man. That's. I think everybody on the team renewed their vows yesterday. That's pretty cool, man. Unique situation to do that and then come and play a game, hit a grand slam. I mean, he's going to tell his kids when they get old, just remember when I married your mommy, I did all these great things. So it's pretty cool.
His kids are going to play in the big leagues just like their grandfather, Acuña Sr. When I played with him, Acuña the third, Ronald the third is going to, that family, they can play some baseball, but tied to not. It looked like not all the boys got invited. The invitation got lost, like Brady Singer's golf invitation got lost. You got to have, they might have to throw a party in the clubhouse tonight, maybe a little cake, because everybody loves cake.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it was thrown together pretty last minute, so I don't think he had time to text everyone and be like, hey, show up wherever. So I think he's got a lot on his plate right now. All right, and then we're going to bring on Ken Rosenthal in a minute. I'll sneak in one more story because we went over a lot of the deadline dumping from yesterday, and we're going to continue that conversation with Ken on what he thinks about Cleveland and Cincinnati picking up guys. One bit of news we didn't get to because I think it kind of broke after the show ended. Josh Donaldson, who was cut by the Yanks, does latch on with a ball club in time to be eligible for the postseason. And that ball club is the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, you might look at JD and Yankee fans crush him, Todd Father. I'm sure you've seen, right? You do pre and post for the Yanks. They have been very disappointed, the fans, about how that trade turned out. Dude is still an elite glove, and he can bop some homers. He can go on a little heater. I'm just saying, don't be surprised if Josh Donaldson, the NLCS MVP or some shit for the Brewers. I'm serious.
He's got nothing to lose, dude. He's got nothing to lose. You're playing on a ball club, which most likely is going to make the playoffs. He's an exciting ball player. He's not toast. He struggled in New York. A lot of people struggle in New York, man. That's part of what comes with the nature of New York. Everybody's focused on, man, he stinks, this and that. He's going to go to Milwaukee where it's calm, cool, and collective. Erik, you've played there before. It can be exciting, and it will be exciting. But the rigors of New York are 10 times more blown up than where he's going. So he can be nice and relaxed. You know what? He might just take off, man, and good for him if he does.
They're just going to mix him in real quick. They're going to sit him on the bench a little while. They're going to try to get the setups, try to get the matchups that really work for him. It'll work out well. I don't see him playing 24 games in the month of September, but it'll work out.
Well, we will get to all of the deadline news coming up with Ken Rosenthal, and let's queue up our poll question today. WatchStadium.com/foul territory, or scan that QR code on your screen. Now, with what went down yesterday, the dump deadline, do you think it will shake up the playoff race? So think about that. I'm not asking you right now, but I do want to get some poll answers. Either resounding yes, the Guardians and the Reds will make the playoffs, or the outfield help boost the Reds, or nope, the Guardians ruin the fun. Be right back.
They have not played like a team. When you break down what the Padres have done this year, when you look at late and close situations, the worst hitting team in baseball, runners in scoring position, bottom 3, taking strikes in the strike zone more than any team in baseball, hitting to the opposite field, one of the worst in baseball. Everything they do screams that this is a team of individuals. They do not play team offensive baseball. I just watched the Chicago Cubs play a series against the Pirates. They move the baseball. They run the bases. If you don't hold runners, they'll take a bag. They start runners on hit and runs. I love the way the Cubs, and they're not a great offensive team, but they can beat you in different ways. The Padres just never showed the ability to play team baseball offensively. So to me, they're the biggest disappointment. We kept waiting and waiting and waiting. And guess what? Here we are getting into September. We're still waiting for this team to get hot. They just haven't been a good team. And the other thing, guys, is you look at that coaching staff. They have changed hitting coaches virtually every season for about 11 straight years. They have about 14 hitting coaches in 12 years. I'm not a big fan of that. I like consistency. I remember talking to Chad Mottola of the Rays in April when the Rays were the best team in baseball. And he said, you know what? We've had a lot of the same guys here. We have some consistency here. So it's easier to get our messages across. Padres, man, they're just changing the page and the language they're using every single year. Now, whether that's why they're not hitting or not, I don't know, but they certainly don't have consistency.
And now back to foul territory.
Back at it on Stadium FT Live. Braun, Kratz, Todd Father, and Ken Rosenthal joining us right now. Ken, great to see you. And I didn't think that we still had 2 trade deadlines, but we did. And I've termed it dump deadline because it's not trades. You're just dumping your players and you're saving money. So I don't know if you like that phrase or if you've heard anything else that stood out to you. Tom Verducci told us yesterday, Major League Yard Sale. That stood out. Just a little lengthy for me. I need like the alliteration and a little quickness to it. But what did you think of what went down? Because we haven't spoken to you since just suddenly the Angels created really another version of the deadline to put the Ohio teams in a better spot.
First of all, Scott, I called it waiver week. That was my contribution. I kind of like dump deadline better, though. It's more pejorative, as it should be. I wrote about this the other day in terms of whether this is good for the game and just focusing on the Angels because guys go on waivers every year. I'm sure this happened to an extent last year. We just didn't report on it as diligently, and it's because one team didn't dump as feverishly. The Angels did. And my concern is if this happens every year, if it happens every year, with a team taking that kind of approach, baseball's going to have to take a look at this kind of behavior by the clubs because it disrupts a pennant race. It distorts a pennant race. The teams that play the Angels the rest of the way have a decided advantage. It also robs fans of seeing, I wouldn't call it a quality product. The Angels haven't been that, but a further compromised product they're going to be seeing now. That's not a good thing. If you've bought tickets for the Angels in September, guess what? It's going to be a little bit of a rough go, outside of Ohtani, of course. So there are some concerns here. And this was kind of a fun, weird thing. But if it's a fun, weird thing every year, and I would expect that teams might try this because it is within the rules, then baseball has a problem, and a problem that needs to at least be examined with regard to how you approach keeping the single trade deadline. Do you move the deadline back? Do you enforce or introduce different rules to guard against this kind of behavior, these pure massive dumps? That's not a good thing for the game.
Do we know if there is a way that they can circumvent this as far as like MLB? Can they say, all right, I know the rule changes on the field, or they propose it and then they can unilaterally do it? Is it the same thing for something like this, or is this cooked into the CBA and we have no chance of it changing for the next 5 years?
It's in the CBA, and certainly no one is going to act, Erik, on behavior in one season, right? It's too small a sample. This was too weird a circumstance to really know whether it's going to become a trend, but I suspect it might. And if it does, then in the next CBA, yes, you'd have to look at it. There are times where you can reopen the CBA, or at least there's that possibility, but they're not going to do it for something like this. I would expect, though, that over the next 4 years that we're going to see baseball take a hard look at this and just see how clubs conduct themselves with this kind of thing. Again, the Angels did nothing wrong in terms of the rules, in terms of the way they should act. In fact, if I were running the Angels, I might have done the same thing, simply because it saved the team money. I don't know how many millions, but it was 5 or 6 million, I believe, in the long run. And it also enabled them to get under the luxury tax threshold, which will give them a higher draft pick if they make Ohtani a qualifying offer and he rejects. It gets to be a difference of 2 rounds. After the second round, I believe, or after the 4th round. This way it'll be after the second. Those are good things for the Angels. Doesn't mean they're good things for the sport. And actually, you can even make the case that it's not so great for the Angels, because think about this, guys. If you're a free agent, you sign a 1-year deal there, you might be concerned that this is what they're going to do. They're just going to flip you at some point. Now, there's always that concern for free agents with regard to the trade deadline. But this adds a wrinkle to it that is not necessarily conducive to players being attracted to that organization.
Aren't there clauses in big league for big league teams that they have to put a competitive team on the field? That's kind of like where I'm not sure what the wording is, that the MLBPA is going to file a grievance, but isn't there something where it's like they're specifically not trying to be competitive and they're just shedding money? Which shedding money I understand, but isn't there a level of competitiveness that is in the CBA also? And I'm not sure the vernacular for that.
I'm not sure either, to be perfectly honest. And that is a subjective judgment anyway, right, Erik? Are the Oakland A's in violation of that? I would suggest that they are. Are the Kansas City Royals? There are several teams you can look at and say, hey, this team is not as competitive as it should be. And yet, even with the A's and the Royals, you can point to some good things that are happening. The A's, Reagan, the guy they got from Texas for Chapman's been a real revelation. And with the A's, they have a number of young players who have come up, Zach Geloff being one of them, foremost among them. They're kind of interesting in certain ways. They're not good by any stretch. So you can always make the case that the team's competitive. The Angels can say, we've got Shohei Ohtani. We're a major league product. We're fine. At the same time, from a broader standpoint, and maybe not from a literal CBA standpoint, this is not good for the sport. If it's good for Artie Moreno, yeah, that's great for Artie Moreno. Not a good look for the sport.
Hey, Ken, my question to you is, it's a 2-part question, but do you remember the last time this happened before, where some teams say, you know what, we're getting rid of a bunch of guys? Because I don't remember it being this significant. And do you see this as a trend moving forward by other teams taking the same route? You know what, forget about it. We're getting rid of these guys so I could save some money, or just because.
I can see it being a trend, Todd, and I kind of addressed that earlier with the concern that, yes, it might become a trend, and then baseball would maybe take a hard look at this. As for it happening before, that's a good question. And with the old waiver period, you did see this happen. It happened quite frequently where teams would dump salary. The difference in many of those cases was that they were trades that were made. Now, they might have been kind of bogus trades. You weren't getting much back. But go back to 2012, the Red Sox trading Adrian Gonzalez, Carl Crawford, Josh Beckett. They've got, in that deal, they acquired some players as well. Punto went to the Dodgers, and then James Loney and I believe 4 prospects went back to the Red Sox. That was at least a trade. And yeah, you saw over the years some that really weren't that. Some pure waiver claims like these that took place. But with the old waiver period, which I didn't really care for, I thought it was kind of silly with the rules and the confidentiality, the cloak and dagger stuff that was going on. At least you had the possibility to make a deal. In this situation, all you can do is claim the player, and the team can get nothing in return.
This is normally the time of year when we start doing the Ohio chant. So you're going to have to do the Ohio chant with me, however they do that. I know the O and everything. And we're getting ready for college football season. Now, all of a sudden, a team like the Guardians starts dumping players, traded Savali when they were 1 game out, but they reverse course 5 games out, and now they join up with now they're their odds to win the AL Central have just gone up. What is the maneuvering there, and what is the thought process is there? I mean, the guys they picked up, I think, really improved their team in a weak division.
I agree with that, but in my view, and I'm going to use a word that you guys love and use in clubhouses all the time, this is eyewash. And it's eyewash because they already tore the team down. Granted, they said they were creating opportunities for younger players, and then they went to some older veterans anyway. They tore the team down, or at least made some sell-type trades, and now they're saying, oh, we're going to try again? Remember, their clubhouse was quite upset when they made those trades. Josh Bell, Savali, Ahmed Rosario. They were like, the players, what are we doing here? And the front office kind of had to go in there and say, all right, here's the explanation, etc. They had to calm things down. This, to me, is sort of a payback for that, or a chance to cover yourselves for that. And I don't see it really making much of a difference. Yes, Lucas Giolito might be much better with the Guardians than he has been. They've got a great pitching coach in Carl Willis. Ronaldo Lopez has been a quality reliever. Matt Moore has struggled against lefties this year. It's been weird. But he, too, is a quality reliever. Yeah, they're better. But this is what they needed maybe on August 1st, not September 1st. And it just seems to me that this was the kind of reaction by the front office to the criticism that they received earlier. Now, if they turn it around and win the division, which I don't expect, their playoff odds are something like 6% right now, I'll eat my words. But in my view, the Guardians, all they did was try to cover up what they did before, and they should not maybe have taken that course. Or at least, if they had taken that course and wanted to jettison some of those players, Rosario in particular, they have other options in the middle infield. Okay, but maybe enhance the club in other ways, and maybe don't trade Savali. Because if you didn't trade Savali, you wouldn't have needed Giolito.
Hey, Ken, sorry, I a little hiccup there. I want to talk about the article you just wrote about Shohei Ohtani, about, why is he still hitting? It was an impressive article, like always. You do a great job. But what do you think is the main reason? You wrote about 3 different ones. Like, is there one in your mind you think that is specific towards him, like why you really think it is? Because they're all really good reasons. What one do you think specifically why he's still hitting?
Todd, I kind of think it's a combination. And the 3 reasons were, 1, he's chasing some pretty big numbers. 50 home runs. Of course, the American League MVP, which he probably has locked up, but he can seal it even further by continuing to play. Potential 50 home runs and 30 stolen bases, or 25 stolen bases even. If he did 50-25, he'd be the first player to do that. And even a triple crown is somewhat within reach. So that's 1. He's got the ability to do all those things, and by hitting, he's not making his elbow any worse. The other thing is he might not want a second Tommy John surgery, and you couldn't blame him for that. The second Tommy John is riskier. It involves a longer, more delicate recovery. It's a tricky thing. And remember, the first Tommy John he had, it took him really 2 seasons to recover. He came back the second year and pitched 1 2/3 innings and then was down again. So he might be looking at a second Tommy John and thinking, I'd rather not. And then there's the third reason. He wants to be ready for opening day 2024 as a hitter because, of course, he's going into free agency, and if he's ready by opening day 2024, his value, at least in theory, might be that much higher. So is it any one of those things? Probably not. Is it a combination of all 3? I would suggest it is more along those lines, but it's still a very curious situation. And the reason I wrote about it was we all believe, based on what we know, and we don't know much about the extent of his tear, the nature of his tear, but generally a torn UCL leads to Tommy John surgery. It's not a matter of if, it's usually a matter of when. And by delaying, either through rest and rehab, PRP injections, a combination of both, you might simply be delaying the inevitable. So this is something that obviously is captivating the entire sport. Captivating might not be the right word. Interesting the entire sport, because we all want to know what's going on with Ohtani, and no one knows just yet what course he's going to take. But it seems pretty obvious, guys. If he wanted to have Tommy John surgery, he would have had it a week ago. Instead, he keeps playing, and it seems like he's going to keep playing and not decide in mid-September, okay, I'll get it now.
How is the man who has connections everywhere in you still writing articles about the best player in our game, by far, unicorn, whatever you want to say? There's really, like, he's in a shroud of secrecy. And I'm not saying he's doing anything nefarious. I'm saying, how has he done this? Has anybody else been able to do this also? And is it going to continue with the next team? Like, this is this like a selling point? Hey, we can keep your secrecy. Not that he's doing anything bad, but we can keep you in your private little bubble like you've stayed for the first 6 years of your career.
Erik, interesting question. And players have done this before. There have been players who don't speak to the media. I covered Eddie Murray early in my career. He didn't talk at all. Bonds at times did not talk. I can think of many others over the years. I don't want to be singling those guys out, but that was their course. That was their choice. Ohtani speaks after he starts. Hasn't started a game in a while. I mean, as a starting pitcher. So that's his choice. That's the way he goes about it. And he's playing in a market where he hasn't been really challenged with that decision that he has made. Players are not obligated to speak to the media, but most players do speak to the media because they know the media is a conduit to the fans, and that's part of the way the game works, and it all kind of works hand in hand. It makes these guys more famous, if you want to call it that, not that he needs it, but to be able to get their stories out there, to explain what they do and all of that. It's just all part of the way professional sports and even entertainment works. That said, when he doesn't speak, and when his agent, Nez Bolello of CAA, doesn't speak, it leads to articles like the one I just wrote asking all these questions because we don't have answers. And maybe Ohtani doesn't have answers either. That's one thing we should consider here. I went back and looked. The first time he had surgery, he was advised to get it on September 5th, 2018. He didn't decide to get it until September 25th, 2018. 20 days passed, and then he had it a few days later on October 1st. So it could be he's still just trying to decide what to do. And let's face it, guys, you know this. The decision to have surgery is not an easy one for a player to make, especially when it's the second surgery. In this case, a second Tommy John, which we all know is more complex than the first. I get all that. At the same time, it's going to be interesting to see going forward if his stance toward the media is accepted by his new team or if his new team asks him to do more. My guess is he'll get to do whatever he wants because he's going to be able to name his price and name his conditions and do whatever he thinks is best for him. And listen, he is a little bit of a different player. He doesn't hang around his locker before the games because he's always preparing. So that's one reason that his availability is more limited. But at the same time, this is the stance he has chosen, and it's a stance most players do not take.
Yeah, we truly can't relate to him. And by we, I mean even current major leaguers. Like, nobody can relate to what he is going through, which actually I think also causes the problem of the point that Ken just brought up is who's he turning to? It's not like even doctors can look back and be like, oh, well, let's look at the last Ohtani situation where you've got a dude that's hitting every day and then pitches like this. And we're in this modern era too, where you're throwing hard and everything else. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of discussion going on behind the scenes. So in my mind, Ken, you were hustling this morning. You put out 2 articles in The Athletic. I think you put out articles on the 2 most interesting free agent cases coming up this offseason. Ohtani, of course, is an easy number 1. For me, the underrated number 2 is Craig Counsell if he decides not to go back to Milwaukee. And I need Kratz's help here. Kratz, you can ask him because since day 1 of Brew Crew territory, which came out in early April, Kratz has been talking about this on the show and asking people within the organization about Craig Counsell and his contract. And I feel like most people are like, why is he bringing that up? Obviously, if he wants to keep managing, he's just going to be there like any other manager does. But Kratz, why did you have this inclination? Are you the new insider for the Milwaukee Brewers?
I'm not the new insider. I would never ever say that. But it's unheard of on so many levels because he has done so well. And maybe because I really respect the guy, I see how he manages. I think he should have 2 or 3 Manager of the Year awards, which really don't mean anything other than, people recognize it. But my question is, because everyone's going to say, well, whatever he wants to do is what he wants to do. Let's say he becomes a manager free agent. What teams would want him?
Well, let's look at the Mets for starters. If David Stearns, who was the former president of baseball operations for the Brewers, goes to the Mets and becomes president of baseball operations there, certainly people are going to put two and two together and think maybe Craig Counsell replaces Buck Showalter. Now, Buck Showalter has another year left on his contract, but we've seen stranger things happen, right? Any number of teams, in my opinion, would at least look at their situations and say, do we want to stick with the manager we have under contract, or do we want to hire a guy who, as I wrote, routinely outperforms the preseason projections for the Brewers, routinely outperforms what their record should be according to their run differential. They do this with Milwaukee all the time. Now, there's no way to measure a manager and the quality of a manager. There's so many variables, and the one thing we can't measure, which I believe, and I think you guys probably believe too, is the most important quality, the communication within the clubhouse, the ability to hold the team together. Can't measure that. At the same time, his reputation within the game is such that people understand what he does. This team is never a top half payroll team. They're usually a bottom third payroll team. And yet they keep winning this NL Central or stay close to doing that. So, yes, if he gets out there as a free agent, teams are going to have to look at their situations and say, maybe we want Craig Counsell. Now, where he'd be willing to go, what he would be willing to do, no one knows. He has deep roots in Milwaukee. But if Milwaukee is not going to meet his desires, whether it's contractually or with the way the team is run, whatever it might be, and maybe there's a combination of all things that he's thinking about, then he, like any free agent, is at least going to look around. And at this point, with a month left to the season, when a player is in this position, we always say, well, he might as well test the market. Craig Counsell might as well test the market.
Have we ever seen a situation like this where a manager's done so well? Yeah? Because normally it's like managers have that, he's done so well, they get that, they add a year on, and there's always that year on. This whole year, he's never had the year on, and everybody's just said, whatever, it's no big deal. He'll just come back. Do you feel like the Brewers are kind of taking him for granted? Or do you think that the communication has been had throughout the year?
There's been communication. There's no question about that. And I would not say the Brewers are taking him for granted. Now, I don't know the nature of the conversations that have taken place, what exactly was said, what exactly might have been offered. But there have been situations like this before. If I recall, Dave Roberts might have gone into a year as a lame duck. Now, maybe they got it done, maybe they didn't. The Yankees have taken Brian Cashman to the end at times. I believe they took Torrey to the end at times. Aaron Boone, Joe Girardi as well. Certain teams have that kind of philosophy. I remember getting into a conversation with Dodgers president Stan Kasten one day, and he was yelling at me for calling a manager a lame duck. And like, you guys don't dictate what we do. Is that? Well, yeah, if he goes into the year without a contract for beyond that year, he's a lame duck. Counsell's a little bit different, obviously, because he has such stature, as did Dave Roberts for that matter. But yeah, it's a unique situation, at least for Milwaukee with Counsell. It's not unique in the game. There have been guys who have gone to the end without a deal and then either had to work it out at the end or go somewhere else or simply get dismissed.
Talking about management, I want to shift over to the Yankees a little bit. You know, there's been some pressures over there. Been talking about them a lot. People are saying that some things are unprecedented. Things will never happen. There won't be any change. Do you feel a change coming in for the Yankees? Do you think Counsell might be a good spot there? I mean, I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts about what could happen and what will happen after this year is over with for the Yankees management-wise.
The consensus is that no change is going to be made with Brian Cashman, and that no change will be made with Aaron Boone unless Hal Steinbrenner ordered a change. And we've seen Hal Steinbrenner be very loyal to both Cashman and Boone throughout their tenures. And Cashman, he's had 25 straight winning seasons. This could be their first losing season, maybe not. It seems they're going to give him a mulligan, even though I know fans are quite upset with the way the team has trended the last few years, and justifiably so. Boone is a little bit of a different story. In my opinion, Boone cannot be held responsible for what has happened here. It is not his fault. This is a roster construction issue, which goes back to Cashman. At the same time, we'll see how much Hal Steinbrenner is reactive to the unrest in his fan base. Their fans are not happy with the team. They want to see change. And it's one thing if you change a farm director or a scouting director or maybe even uproot the analytics department. There's been some talk of that. Maybe they do some of those things, and that's one thing. But is it enough to satisfy the fans? I don't know. And really, the only way things will change in that regard, as far as sending a message to Hal Steinbrenner, is if fans stop going to games. And I don't expect that's going to happen. Fans like going to see the Yankees play, Aaron Judge, the whole deal. But we all know, Todd, I'm sure you know people, you have friends who get in your ear about the Yankees and are just exasperated with them. Hal Steinbrenner earlier this year had kind of a tone-deaf remark when he said, I don't know why people are so upset. Well, people are even more upset now, and it's going to be really interesting to see how he reacts, if he reacts at all in a big way. They might simply do some things around the edges, such as change their analytics, maybe make some other moves, rather than make a big move with either Cashman or Boone.
And we'll get to the comments later, too, from Hal about maybe the outside counsel to evaluate the analytics, which I have many thoughts there. Super weird. But
I'm sure you do.
Ken, thank you very much. Yes. We will get after it in a little bit. Enjoy your game this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Ken.
All right, so we'll swing back on Stadium and play a little Take It or Leave It, and also get a report from JJ Cooper from Baseball America on a very positive side of the Yankees, the debut of Jason Dominguez coming soon. We'll get a scouting report on him next.
Martian.
Very relevant right now. Brandon Belt addressing the really fucked up situation that occurred at the All-Star game, where Ohtani took his place. Let's run it.
Well, I mean, I think y'all know my thoughts. I mean, I should have been in first place, probably by a couple million votes. But unfortunately, the All-Star game's rigged. You know, they put the people in there that they want in there. They don't want me in there for some reason. So I'll be sitting at home watching Shohei hitting my spot in the All-Star game. Will he do as good as me? Probably not. But, you know, that's the cards I was dealt. So I got to live with it.
Brandon, this show is created for players to have a spot to truly have an outlet and be authentic.
He was right on.
I know. I just want to get his follow-up to what you saw at the All-Star game, and Ohtani continue to not be as good as you, and kind of your like post standout quote, what you have to say.
Yeah, so I did watch the All-Star game, but I don't even remember what he did in the All-Star game, which is probably says a lot. You know, I think if I would have played, everybody would have remembered what happened. I'd have probably hit bases empty, grand slam, something like that, won the MVP, got a brand new car or something. But instead they put Shohei in there for some reason. I don't know. I can't figure out why. Maybe just because I'm from Texas or something. I can't figure it out. But MLB doesn't like me, and they love Shohei. So I was sitting at home watching it with my friends, and he got to play in the All-Star game.
And now back to foul territory.
Back on Stadium FT Live, we've got debuts. So it is September. It's already happening, and that means more call-ups, and that means rosters can expand by 2 more humans. Not, what was it in the past, like 15-ish?
All of them.
Go from like 25 to 40.
The
Everybody
Astros.
is a major leaguer now.
The Astros, when they were bad, they had 39 guys on the roster. They had like the double sheet, and we're trying to make the playoffs, and they're just throwing out everybody. Bo Porter was just doing all his Bo Porter matchup galore. It was terrible.
It was such an awful brand of baseball in September. It was so much slower. It made no sense. Buck Showalter, who I worked with in the past, basically said you have separate seasons. And he said, like, you have the regular season, then you have September, then you have October if you're in. So enough of that. Much better now. Rosters just expand by 2. That doesn't make a huge difference.
September's a big call up for a lot of people, man. That changes a lot of people's insurance, health insurance. It changes a lot of livelihoods of September. I still like it how it was, just because of that sole fact. But I had to put that.
Oh, helping out humans. I'm for that. And what they did do is, from a service time perspective, by adding 2 more people, the amount of days is given back, because you have that for the entire season, right? You had 2 at the end of the year, and you have 26-man roster instead of 25. But I get what you're saying. In terms of individuals, a lot more dudes get called up. It just wasn't a good brand of baseball.
Understood.
That's the one part where I got to go against it.
I wouldn't say it wasn't good. I would say it was a lot longer, because you put pinch runners in. You put this guy in to come in because you're down 8 runs, and next thing you know, you give up another 5. That's understandable. I still think it was a good brand. You get to see some new names, and not to argue with you. I'm just my explanation about it. That's all.
No, tell me, screw you. Kick rocks.
No,
dude. You know what you're talking about.
No, there's other things
I could take it.
Kick rocks. I would never do that.
All right. Well, how about this? One of the worst prospect debuts we're ever going to see. I'm just kidding. Jason Dominguez. I'm actually super excited for this. Todd will go over the epic nickname that he has, but first, let's get an A+ scouting report from our friend JJ Cooper from Baseball America on the debut of Jason Dominguez, which happens tonight.
There's a youth movement going on at Yankee Stadium, which is something we don't often say with the New York Yankees. But with the 2023 season now basically consigned to being a massive disappointment for the Yankees, there's a youth movement because they're going to look at some September call-ups to join with already some young players already there. After the rest of Florial's already there. Shortstop Anthony Volpe's been there all year. Now, though, we're also getting the arrival of outfielder Jason Dominguez and catcher Austin Wells. So what are the Yankees getting here? Well, Jason Dominguez, I'm guessing that you already know somewhat what they're getting, because he has been one of the most hyped prospects in baseball ever since a little bit before he signed as a 16-year-old with the Yankees. The comparisons back then were Mickey Mantle, Bo Jackson, Mike Trout. Let's bring those down several notches. Not because Dominguez is not a good player, but because if you're expecting that, you're going to be sorely disappointed. However, if you look at Dominguez of what he is, which is a player, knows how to draw walks, knows how to get on base, has great raw power, but gets to some power in games, puts together good at-bats, plays a solid, can play anywhere in the outfield, but plays a solid defense and even in center field, can throw, can run. If you expect that, then you are talking about you are going to maybe be happy with what you see from Jason Dominguez. As far as Austin Wells, to his credit, he has continually gotten better as a catcher to the point where he is a plausible catcher, everyday catcher potentially defensively, who can hit. And that's obviously valuable. What we're going to see in September? Well, this is kind of the sneak peek. This is not just a sneak peek, but the idea of seeing from these players how much more seasoning they need before they can be added into the 2024 plans. In the case of Dominguez, especially, he is 20. He just arrived in AAA. It's not in any way a problem if he's not ready for the big leagues yet. But that said, this is the sneak peek of what the Yankees will look for in 2024 and beyond.
Great stuff from JJ. Appreciate you, and BA. So take it or leave it. We're going to do one big question here. Todd Father up first. Take it or leave it that Jason Dominguez is going to live up to the hype, and that the nickname is going to live up to the hype. Like in the chat right now, there's a lot of comments about the nickname, and the Jedi of Chicago, who's in here a lot, said the Jaguars a better nickname than the Martian. The Martian makes me think of the Matt Damon movie. I like the Martian. I think it's sick, and we haven't heard it before.
I like it. It's one we've never heard of, like you said. It's, it fits him. I don't know. He was on a plane flight the other day, and nobody knew who he was, and he said, "Hey, man, I'm the Martian. I'm out of this world." And I thought that was awesome. So I like it. I think he does live up to the hype. I think JJ made a good point. He's not going to, he's going to blow you away, but to the point where it's like, he's a really good ball player. And if he meets those expectations, which I think he will, he's going to play for a very long time.
He has the skills. Obviously, he has the skills. He's had the skills since he was 16. He was like a 20-year-old at 16. Like, he matured early. So I don't think he's going to physically have any issues. We heard Jose Trevino the other day talking about he hit 2 balls in back-to-back at-bats from both sides of the plate over 105 miles an hour. At 20 years old, that is awesome. But I think the reason he will succeed from a productive big league standpoint is he's not afraid to take his walks. He understands the zone. And if you have that from both sides of the plate, your game can grow and you can easily make it applicable to what's going on. And then all of a sudden your batting average will go up and your power, you'll learn to hit for power because he's only swinging at pitches in the zone. I'm so excited to watch him face Verlander tonight too.
These are 2 good prospects. Yeah, welcome to the big leagues. Here's Justin Verlander with the Astros. Have fun, man. And an Astros team that's playing for a division title too. So they're going to be not holding back. Let's put it that way. Like, they'll try and pound this team in any way that they can. All right, we'll swing right back. We'll go over our picks, but enjoy those prospect debuts tonight.
Tom, who's been the biggest NL flop? The Padres, the Mets, or the Cardinals? All 3 teams, high payroll, expectations through the wazoo. This year's not.
Yeah, it's plenty of choices, huh? I'm going with the Padres, man. I thought the Padres were a World Series team. I really did. I looked at that roster. I saw the way they played last year in the postseason. Like they played well against the Phillies up until the Harper home run, but I looked at that team and I loved their pitching. I thought that the depth they had really would come into play. And offensively, just a team of superstars. But that's how they've played, right? They have not played like a team. When you break down what the Padres have done this year, when you look at late and close situations, the worst hitting team in baseball. Runners in scoring position, bottom 3. Taking strikes in the strike zone, more than any team in baseball. Hitting to the opposite field, one of the worst in baseball. Everything they do screams that this is a team of individuals. They do not play team offensive baseball. I just watched the Chicago Cubs play a series against the Pirates. They move the baseball. They run the bases. If you don't hold runners, they'll take a bag. They start runners on hit and runs. I love the way the Cubs, and they're not a great offensive team, but they can beat you in different ways. The Padres just never showed the ability to play team baseball offensively. So to me, they're the biggest disappointment. We kept waiting and waiting and waiting. And guess what? Here we are getting into September. We're still waiting for this team to get hot. They just haven't been a good team. And the other thing, guys, is you look at that coaching staff. They have changed hitting coaches virtually every season for about 11 straight years. They have about 14 hitting coaches in 12 years. I'm not a big fan of that. I like consistency.
And now back to foul territory.
Back at it, and a reminder, in hour number 2, we're going to talk to DJ Stewart of the New York Mets and Brent Suter of the Colorado Rockies. Braun, Kratz, Todd, Father. Let's go over our locks. Bet MGM Locks for Friday. First, we backtrack. Kratz, what'd I say? What'd I say yesterday?
Hot. Hot. You're feeling it. I love it. Keep it up, big fella.
You had a nice day as well.
Yeah. I mean, I've been hot this week. I had a brutal week. I was 1-4 last week. I'm looking to go 5-0 this week with my pick after today.
And AJ gets a dub, even though he was a huge loss on the Gators.
Eric, that's a lot of work, bro, to figure all that out. Oh my God.
I know. I apologize. I apologize the last 2 days to Claudia. She's getting hand cramps writing these out on our Thursday locks.
Hey, but it's a winner, kiddo.
That's
the thing is, hey, you got to follow the money, and Kratz does his homework, and it's often working. So I'll give him credit there. And yeah, it was a no sweat bet for me. Marlins cruised over the Nats, and AJ hit that over pretty early on with the Dodgers and the Braves. So let's spin it to Friday. Bet MGM Locks.
Baby.
We're all
Let's go.
in pretty good shape. Todd, father, even your record at 19 and 18. So what do you got for us? Give us a big weekend play.
I pick and choose when I feel like it's going to be right, and that's what I've been doing. 19 and 18, I'm on top where the big dog usually should be, and I'm there picking the right bets, okay? I'm not doing over 6.5 strikeouts, minus blah, 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 Erik Kratzy thing. So, okay? I'm going to just be simple here. I'm picking the Astros today, minus 1.5. I know they're playing the Yanks. They're in Houston. It's Verlander on the mound. I go against everything I say, but sometimes you got to go with your brain, not with your heart. Sometimes 200 to win 220.
That's exactly what I was thinking, and I'm proud of you, Todd, because that was a play that I was looking at too. Who's on the line?
Eric's on the phone.
Oh no, it was your producer from Yes Network. He gone. I'll tell them.
How can you root against us? No, I give him credit. That's good.
Us?
That's analysis, okay? That's integrity. Kratz, you're up.
I like that call. I'm tailing that. All right, I'm going to go another confusing one. Just so, Todd, get your pencil out so you can write it down. All right. Kodai Senga is going to give me a walk. Okay. He's also going to give me 7 Ks. All right, because them boys strike out all the time. We're going to have an over of 3.5 runs, and Gilbert's only given me 4 strikeouts. Gilbert's hit that 23 of 26 times. Senga's walked at least one guy.
Wow.
Every game except one. Easy money, young blood.
Let's go. And we can show that board where I've got the Marlins again. I'm going back to back to take down the Nats and to buy it down because it was way too big on the money line. I just need 4 Ks from Yuri Perez, who has looked so money on the mound. So 4 Ks, please, for that one. We'll fix that. But Miami money line part of the FGP. Okay. Use the bonus code FOUL200 to bet 10 and get 200 instantly. You place your first Bet MGM sportsbook wager through the app of at least $10, and you receive $200 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Gambling problem or concern? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. And in hour number 2 coming up, we've got Brent Suter from the Colorado Rockies, DJ Stewart from the New York Mets. And I'm actually going to start off hour number 2, if we have time before Brent comes around, with a question to think about. So here it is. I'll let you guys stew for a minute. Mellow Gus, who's new to the chat, says, as a Giants fan, I'm sick of platooning. What are your thoughts on the way that the Giants run things? So think about that. We'll be right back with hour number 2.
So I can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me, and I can't hold it much longer. Gotta let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hour number 2 of FT Live. Let's bring in a fan question right from the jump. So I let you guys stew for a whole whopping minute, and I'll give you a little more context. So from Mellow Gus, my question to the guys, as players, how do you feel about the constant platooning and for bullpen pitchers not having consistent roles or set roles? As a Giants fan, I'm sick of this damn platooning. Can't win a World Series with this dumb philosophy. Wow. Tell us how you really feel. I like it though. Hey, the Giants 2 years ago, Kratz, won the freaking division, which no one else has done in a long ass time in the NL West. The Dodgers own that division, and they like to do some platooning too. But Farhan Zaidi is Mr. Platoon. He brought that over to the Giants. Kapler loves it too. You've seen him do some of that in Philadelphia. And I will say, after a down year last year, the Giants are competing again, contending for a wild card. They've swung and missed many times on trying to bring star franchise players over there, like Bryce Harper, even Stanton when he was a big deal. There's been many other names too that they've put their hat in and they've just lost out on. They did sign Correa for a hot minute, but then failed his physical. So your thoughts on the Giants?
My thoughts on the Giants are, I love what Farhan Zaidi does. I think the ownership tries to win. The fan base, they come out. Like, they try to be competitive, which is awesome. The issue is, for some reason, people aren't going there and signing. For whatever it is, maybe they'll get Belly this year. Who knows what it is. But they're not getting that upper tier guy. But I love some of their one-year signings. Conforto, Haniger. My issue with the whole platooning is, are you going to go there as a superstar, a Bellinger? You know, I'm not saying that they were going to platoon Correa. I'm saying, are you going to go there if they haven't quite figured out their platooning in the sense of, like, how do we keep players healthy? That's been Gabe Kapler's biggest issue. That's why the whole 107 wins or 103 wins, whatever they had in 21, was kind of an aberration, because you're seeing it right now. The Giants are kind of declining based on the fact that their bullpen gets absolutely crushed. They're getting warmed up all the time, and they're never getting enough breaks. And I think it's important that you keep guys fresh, and I don't know that they've figured that part of it out yet. But I like it because you're trying to win with the team that you have. I just think it might go a little too far.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for everybody. I don't know. I'm old-fashioned, I guess, man. I think you got to find your guys that are your seventh inning, eighth inning, ninth inning guys. The platooning stuff. I mean, the Rays did all that stuff, putting the relievers, starters first, and having them go 1 inning or 2 inning and doing all this stuff. If it works for them, it works for them. But your point that you bring up was great. Then not many people are going there. So what is that main reason why nobody's going or wanting to be like, oh, this is the landing spot. This should be a top spot. San Francisco is awesome. So that would be my more concern, what you brought up there. Why aren't the big guns, I know we talked about Judge might be going there. I felt like that whole thing, that they weren't even in mind. But it's a whole nother story. But why aren't they first picks for a lot of people? And I think that's the bigger question, Scott.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Todd, Father, for you on the platoon side, so let's say you're on the Giants right now and they're like, hey, dude, only going to face one side. Would you be cool with that? Like, if they're like, hey, dude, you're going to face left-handed pitching only.
Yeah.
How would you feel? And let's say you're in the prime of your career, but you got big splits.
I was going to.
They're like, listen, dude, we got another guy that can handle righties. I'm putting you in right in the fire. And they're like, listen, we're platooning everybody. So you're part of that. And if you're a righty, you're hitting lefties. If you're a lefty, you're hitting righties for the most part. And that's it. That's how we're running this ball club. You're under team control. Yeah. So you can complain to me, but you're not getting moved right now because you smash righties or smash lefties, I should say.
It would be a little difficult. I'm one of the biggest team guys, but at the same time, I know I can, in my mind, I can hit righties just as well. I mean, I hit lefties better in my career, yes, but it's still confusing. I don't know. I don't know how I would take that. I would be just a little iffy because that would hurt, not only my stock, but the guy that's hitting against righties only as well. So it's like, if I'm in the prime of my career, I'm losing at bats when I should be gaining at bats. So yeah, it would be a little difficult.
Let's bring this combo into our next discussion here with our guest, the great Brent Suter from the Colorado Rockies reliever, joining us right now, who's had a number of different roles. Brent, good to see you, man. And before we get to the rest, I don't know how much you caught of this, but a fan basically in our chat asked about the Giants and how they platoon with their offense and there's no set roles with their bullpen for a while. You've danced all around in terms of how you've been handled as a pitcher. What are your thoughts on the way that plays? Do you think that teams can be completely effective in that way, or do you come across players that get pissed and aren't as easy to work with, say, as you are?
Yeah, well, great seeing you guys. Thanks for having me. I for sure think it's more conducive to success to have set roles, to have guys in the 7th, 8th, 9th roles. We had that in the last couple of years in Milwaukee with Boxberger had the 7th, Devin had the 8th, Josh had the 9th. And then when that it gets disrupted, it gets harder, but it can still be done. But the thing about it is like, it depends on the group of guys you have. Like we here in the Rockies have a really good group of guys that are willing to take the ball whenever. So it makes a big difference. The makeup of the guys in the bullpen, makeup of the guys in the lineup, willing to be pinch hit without blowing up in the 3rd, 4th inning like some teams do. So just depends on the makeup of the guys if it can be a long-term success or not.
Is it the guys or is it the manager? Who sets that tone?
I think it's both. I think the manager can certainly help persuade some of the guys that might be on the fringe of not accepting that methodology so well. But I think it's both. The guys definitely, you need a certain build and a certain kind of identity in the clubhouse to be able to succeed with all that movement going on during the game, and all the kind of the unknown and like the uncertainty of when I'm going in and whatnot. But there's definitely a manager effect there. I know for us with the Rockies, Buddy Black does an awesome job of setting that tone of, hey, everyone's buying in. We're fighting till the last out today. We're going to do whatever it takes to win. And his rule number 1 is be ready for anything. And so that definitely applies here. And rule number 2 is everything's going to be all right.
No doubt. No doubt. Hey, happy belated birthday, man. Well, you turned how old 3 days ago?
19.
34. Appreciate it. Yeah, 34.
19. No. Plus tax, man. You're free agent plus tax.
Hey, listen. Would you do anything special for your birthday or just business as usual?
My cousin was in town, so we went to a little brunch place here called Snooze. Walked to it. It's a great place. And then threw up a 0 against the Braves with some help from my defense. So that felt like a birthday present of itself. that was really good. So. But just kind of hung with my cousin in the afternoon. Went to the field, tried to beat those guys, but they're a dang good ball club.
No doubt. My question to you is: we talked about Craig Counsell, how he's, you don't hear coaches as free agents, but now you played for him before. Now he's a free agent. They haven't signed him to a long-term deal, a year deal, any kind of deal. What do you think about him and as a manager, and talk about him a little bit in the Brewers situation there?
Yeah, quite frankly, I'm surprised nothing's been done so far. He's such a great asset for that city, and he's a local guy. So I hope they get something done for his sake and for baseball's sake, because I think it's just such a perfect fit. But if he goes on the free agent market, look out. He is one of the best managers in the game. Super players manager, always has your back. Challenges you in the right ways, really reads his guys and knows how to get everyone going in individual ways, goes out of his way to talk to everybody in BP and in the clubhouse. And it's always such a good positive energy guy and joking around. During the games, he comes off as like intense and nervous and all that stuff, but that's just his competitive nature coming out. He is really like super nice and relaxed guy, and he would be a heck of a pickup for a team if the Brewers don't sign him back.
Brent, we're going to step aside from you for 1 sec because you're sounding like a robot. So I think they want you to just refresh where you're at. We've had the great luck of Brent Suter at the Pfister Hotel. No, I'm kidding, but sometimes it does sound like that. So we'll just have you refresh real quick. And while you do that, I know, dude, trust me, I get it. I mean, it was good for a little bit, and then we faded a little down the stretch. So we just need a little boost. It's like timeout, someone comes to the mound, they're just gonna have you refresh real quick. So we'll take you off the screen for a sec, and while we have a minute, Kratz, because I just want to get your take. So Ken writes about Craig Counsell. You heard Ken talk about it. You heard Brent just talk about it. What are your thoughts? Like, if you're Craig Counsell, what do you do? And also, what do you think is going through his mind? Because you know him pretty well, and I'm wondering if there's a comfort level of him being in that area versus probably other teams offering more money or trying something else. I mean, for me, like the Brewers are a contending team every year. They've got some good young talent coming up, including maybe the best prospect in baseball or one of the best in Jackson Chourio about to be on his way. So it's not a competitive issue, even though this team can't spend like other ball clubs. To me, I'm wondering if, this is straight up money. And we talk about whatever we want here. Like, there are some ball clubs. The Nationals are a big part of this too in the past. I don't know how Davey Martinez's new contract looks, but in the past with some of their other managers, they'd be like, yeah, they're trying to offer half, a third of what some of the other ball clubs are doing. And if I win a title, screw that. So I'm wondering if there's some of that battling going on. And Craig's going to win that battle because there's going to be openings for him. So, if Craig's making $1.5 million, right? And there's some skippers making 3 or 4, and he's like, yeah, the best offer I'm getting is 2, but I can get 4 somewhere else. Go do your thing, baby.
I have a hard time believing that he's going to – I mean, $2 million is a lot of money, but Counts he is Whitefish Bay. He can ride his bike to the park, which he does sometimes. He was able to take a game off to watch his son play in the state championship game. He is Milwaukee through and through. He was a bat boy, a player, now a manager. Like, I don't see the allure for him going anywhere else, but we didn't know how this season was going to go. I know there was a chance the Cardinals were going to be good, even though their starting pitching wasn't very good, that their lineup was going to bang, and the Brewers were kind of, if that's what happens if at the trade deadline the Brewers were 5 out, and then they get rid of Big Woo, they get rid of Burnsy, and they're not in the playoffs. Does Counts want to be there for a rebuild? I don't know. And I'm not saying it is a rebuild, and I don't know what the relationship with Mark Antanasio, the owner, is with Counts, but to me, it's got to be a blank check. And if Dave Roberts is getting $4 million, to me, Counts needs to be right in that range. He needs to get that amount. But he's got 2 kids playing in the Big Ten for baseball. He wants to travel around. Knowing him, I see him pushing towards that angle. And you have no other life. Even if people are like, oh, well, you're at home. You don't do anything else. You're not at home. You're at the park all the time, whether he rides his bike or he doesn't ride the bike. So I don't see him going anywhere else, but they should pay him.
Let's bring Brent Suter back in. So, Brent, after your playing days, I know you got years left. Would you be a big league skipper, or observing what some of these guys go through from a time perspective, would you be like, yeah, I'm good? Or maybe at least take some years off?
Look at him.
Oh man, I'm going to go ahead and say probably not. I definitely have respect for that profession. Those guys are working so hard and do everything they can, win every day. But I think when I'm done playing, I'm going to be taking it to the house for a little bit. I want to do something environmental after my career. If that's somewhere in baseball along the environmental realm, great. But I really don't have interest in coaching or doing professional managing or anything like that.
Suter B, that was a great timeout you took. Right as you were going out to break, I saw you take the 30. That was good, and now you got the good internet. I was just going to say, if you didn't come back with good internet, you got a big league body, but minor league internet, man, because this is the second time we've busted it here, and you can't become a manager. Ivy League guys can't become managers, so you're going to have to go save the whales without being a manager.
I think Brad Osmus was manager. He's an Ivy League guy.
He gone.
Ivy League guy.
He gone.
Managed Team USA, so it happens.
Yeah, not very well.
You don't know what to say to that, Kratzy.
Yeah, well, Suter, I want you to give me your best. All right, you've played for 2 managers now. You've played for Bud Black and Counsell.
Yep.
And you are.
That's it.
That's it. He was a no nothing prospect with the Brewers. Made his way. Got traded. Did you get traded or did you get non-tendered?
I got put on waivers on the tender deadline day. So
okay.
Kind of in between there, yeah.
Kind of in between there. Waivers, off-season waivers, not the most recent, just get people off your books waivers that the Angels did.
Exactly.
But right. I want you to give me an impersonation because you're incredible at impersonations. If you haven't looked it up, you got to look up YouTube of Suter B's, whatever the impersonation is, incredible Jim Carrey impersonations, but I want you to impersonate Bud Black talking to Craig Counsell in the playoffs the year that we boat raced those nerds.
Okay. I don't have counts down, but I'm going to give it my best. But I've been working on my Bud Black, so here it goes. Craig, listen, we talked about this earlier. You got a good ball club. We got a good ball club over here, too. We got guys with changeups. We got guys with sliders executing down, executing the ball down. We got good bangers. We got good pop in the lineup. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, but it's one of those things like, we're good too. We're good too. I have no Counsell impression. Sorry, but this is hip. Like he kind of goes like this. Like we're good too. You know what I mean? Listen, Craig. Listen. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna roll the balls out. Doug's gonna roll the balls out for us. Good crew here. Good crew we got going on. And we're gonna try to beat you guys. We're gonna try to beat you in Milwaukee. If we can get one in Milwaukee, we'll move to Colorado and try to get two. Yeah, something like that.
That's awesome.
Wow. That was freaking incredible. I've spent a lot of time with way less than you guys, but like being in the manager's office and getting the answers. Woo! That was hot, Kratz.
He is Suter's impersonations.
What's his best impersonation? I've never seen nothing more. You have like a favorite one?
Dude,
guy
Brent is incredible.
So I started doing a lot of Jim Carrey's, like, you know what? You could poke somebody's eye out with that thing. Take care now. Bye then.
I love Jim Carrey, bro.
Yeah, Jim Carrey, and then I do a little like Schmeagle, like precious, but
oh my God, that's solid!
Wow,
that is solid.
Suter B has been wasted in the Midwest. I'm sorry, Brewers fans love some Suter B. I'm sure Rockies fans love Suter B, and we talk about it all the time here, Suter. And I'm gonna absolutely blow you up right now. Suter is the kind of guy on a team, in a bullpen, on the bench, that you talk about chemistry. This is the guy. This is the, like, right here, this is the chemistry guy. You're going to pay him, whatever team wants you in free agency next year, you're going to pay him $1.5 to $3 million, depending on where his numbers end up, because he will bring your team together. Suter B will bang. He will bang on. I mean, he's got incredible rhythm. He's got incredible, he's smiling because he knows what I'm talking about. This is when we talk about chemistry. Suter B is that guy, regardless of if his ERA is a 4.2 or if his exit velocity against is a 84 miles an hour. Whatever it is, this guy he embodies chemistry.
That's solid.
Thank you, Kratz. You do, man. You do. Kratz does. I know that for sure.
You the man. You,
Kratz.
No, you, Kratz. Hey,
that's you, baby. That's you.
I heard you have a home run in the bigs. You've done something that I've never done. Hit a home run off Corey Kluber. Is that true?
I got lucky.
433 feet. Huh? Talk to me about what he threw you there and how that felt to be a real ball player hitting home runs.
It was amazing. First of all, first pitch of the inning, which pitchers are not supposed to swing at, I saw a ball up and I just kind of threw my bat at it and I didn't feel anything, which everyone told me that's a really good sign. And I saw it going and I was like, I hope that gets past Rajai Davis. He was playing center. I was like, I hope that gets past him for a double. And that ball just kept going. It had like perfect spin or something, and it hit off kind of the batter's eye in Milwaukee. And I was running around and I felt like I was in a dream. Like, it was crazy, almost out of body experience. Going around third base, high-fiving Eddie, and just like, what is going on? My heart was going about 200 beats a minute. And then I had to go out and pitch like 3 or 4 more innings. But that was one of my favorite baseball moments of all time. Probably the favorite. That was awesome.
That was an epic swing. How on earth did you develop after every pitch? Now, next time you watch, this is like Terry Hatcher's, her one nostril's bigger than the other one. Okay, you can't not see it now. When Suter B pitches, after every pitch, whether it's a rocket in the gap or a dribbler back to him, after every pitch, whoop, under the armpit. How on earth did this happen? How did you start this?
I started the professional balls. Obviously the seams are smaller than college, and I was having trouble gripping the balls, and so I just started. Okay, I can go to my pits for some moisture and get some grip on this thing, and I started doing it, and everyone calls me like superstar. I'm like superstar, all that stuff. But it works for me. It's how I get grips on the ball, and it's weird, but yeah, you can't unsee it now. If you watch me pitch, you can't unsee it now. I do it about every pitch. So sorry about it. Sorry about
it. Does everybody know about this? Like, do your teammates give you shit for it?
Yeah. I mean, they know about it. They're good, fun loving ribbon. It was funny when I first came over here, the Rockies coaches were like, we've seen you pitch before, but like, why do you go to your armpit every time? You know what I mean? They didn't notice just how much I did it. And especially up here in the elevation, you need some moisture because it gets pretty dry out there sometimes. So I'm definitely going to the pits heavy pit year this year.
Heavy pit.
Heavy sweater. I want to talk about going to Colorado for a little bit. Last time we had you on, you kind of were breaking up, and we were talking about that. Your exit velocity is crazy low. So many people go into Colorado and like, oh, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. Your stuff is all below average. And I mean that with all due respect, but your results, I can say whatever I want if I say with all due respect, but your results are way above average. How do you go in there and change the mindset when everybody around you is like, oh, bro, that cutter's not going to work. And you just keep coming out there, get the ball.
Yeah. Honestly, my stuff, my horizontal movement here isn't diminished that much. I mean, I get pretty good horizontal movement on my cutter and my sinker still. It's the vertical is taken away a lot. So like my cutter doesn't have as much ride on it here as in sea level, and my breaker is always below average. But here I just need to be that much better with it. And it kind of forces you to get on top of stuff. So it does make you a better pitcher, I think, in the long run. But I got really lucky up here with my horizontal stuff being pretty consistent to my sea level. And it allows me to miss barrels up here. Trying to miss more bats, but missing barrels at a decent rate here. And it's one of those places. I pitched in Colorado Springs for parts of 3 years in the minor league. So I did have some adjustment period there. But I don't mind pitching at altitude a whole lot because I still have that kind of the late horizontal movement that I really need.
So, Brent, I'm close friends with Dan O'Dowd, who was the GM of the Rockies for a long time. And I've spent many hours talking to him about the complicated situation of the environment in Colorado to be able to build a consistent winner. It takes more of a toll on most bodies out there. Obviously, like you're talking about, the pitches are different. There's so many differences there. Then when you're taking the offense and they're going from home to the road, it changes things up a lot. And same can be said for the pitching. You're a science guy. Do you have a scientific response or idea for how this team can try and overcome some of the environmental what do you want to call them? Like holdups, basically, that most other teams don't have? It's tough for them. And I don't think it's been figured out too much at all yet for this ball club to put together, like a consistent game plan for how players can thrive there versus everywhere else and do the same thing, not just like as an adjustment of, oh, this is the team you were on last year, now you're here. But it, like for years, the offense much better at home than on the road. And it's so drastic that it's not just, hey, that's this ballpark. It's like dudes will say, I mean, it's a different game now I'm on the road.
Right. Yeah, I think we're trying to do our best with all the controllables. Like when we go on the road, our first day, we always have early work with the hitters and they're all out there getting used to the different movements of the balls at sea level as opposed to elevation. So that's really good. I think you're starting to see some parts of our team that I think are necessary to build winners here. Speed, defense, I think arm strength in the outfield, because you know how big Coors outfield is. A lot of things are getting down there, but we're having so many outfield assists from particularly Nolan Jones and Brent Doyle, because those guys have some of the top arms in the league and they're super accurate and they're super fast. So that is huge building blocks for the future for this team. are those defenders. Tovar being a great defender at shortstop is huge. Brendan Rodgers coming off a Gold Glove year is awesome. So our strength up the middle, our defense up the middle, Elias Diaz catching is a huge component of building a winner here, because I think defense get sneaking some outs when you can on defense is huge. And offensively, I think we got to get better at maybe moving runners across, forcing runs, putting pressure on the defense, especially on the road. We've seen some guys do it here in the last couple of weeks, but making guys make plays with bunts or just putting balls in play, sacrificing maybe the A swing for getting the C swing off and just putting it in play. Because we saw last week when we were on the road, teams just weren't punching out late in the games, and they were getting all these bloopers, and they were just winning games against us because they just weren't punching out. So I think that's a huge part going forward too, is just putting the ball in play offensively. And pitching, continuing to develop. We got some really good young arms going. Peter Lambert's been awesome for us. Justin Lawrence and Jake Bird in the bullpen have been outstanding. Tommy Doyle, Gavin Hollowell, these guys are really good and are grinders. They want to win and they want to get better every day, and they're willing to pitch in all kinds of elements. So in all kinds of points of the game. So there's some really good building blocks here for winning. But I would say the biggest thing we could change is just putting more pressure on defenses late in games.
Suter, you sound like a manager, but I don't know if we're going to be able to see it. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it in my shot, so I'm going to have to move here a little bit. But you and I are both authors, okay? So
yes,
let's talk about your
nice.
book, because we've talked about my book plenty, and this is the size of my book. Okay, so if you need to read it, it's gonna be. Let's talk about the Binky Bandit and where it came from and all that stuff.
Yeah, man. I wrote a little poem when our dog was, jacking all our son's binkies and destroying them. I thought it was like a little funny poem I could read to him. And then Milwaukee Magazine did a cover story on me a couple years ago, and they said, like, what do you read to your son at night? And I was like, well, I wrote him a little story. And then a publisher in Milwaukee reached out and said, hey, we want to read your story. I was like, okay, here it is. I sent them a Google Doc, and they were like, we want to publish this. And I was like, really? You're like, why? You know what I mean? And so we did some edits for the next year and a half and published it last year. And it's been a lot of fun. I mean, it was really fun doing virtual readings. I got some more virtual author visits coming up this off season, but it was cool launching it. The Brewers were kind enough to put it in their bookstore or their team store and let us launch it on the dugout in the stadium there on the off day. So it's been a really fun experience. Different world, in being an author and baseball player. Some similarities, but it was really fun. I'm glad I did it. Don't know if I need to do it again, but it was really, really fun doing it.
All right, I need one more impersonation before we let you go. I need Christian Yelich finding out that you wrote a book, Binky Bandit.
Duty B, how you doing? You wrote a kid's book? Really cool, Duty B. Really cool. I gotta get you to sign it. Something. I don't know. I don't have the yelling impression, but I do have his stance. I was always imitate his stance, when watching him play. He was such a fun guy to imitate his stance on. But yeah, he's kind of really reserved and kind of keeps his mouth kind of still, goes like that. Dude, what's going on, man? You got a nice little book going on, huh? Yeah, all right.
Well, what would Hader say what did Hader say when he found out about your book? As Hader, I know you got a great Hader.
Hey, brother, can I get that book, brother? I'm gonna need it from my son Lucas. He's getting born next year, man. It's gonna be awesome, man. I need that book real quick, brother.
Dude, best impressions in the game potentially, Kratz. I don't know if anyone's got it beat.
100%. Yes. So
yes, Brent. Who's better? Fine. I mean, that's what we do. You can be the humble. That's fine. You don't have to. You say, all right, I appreciate you, but have you come across anyone else that has game like this?
Tim Dillard. I mean, he's not playing anymore, but he's got better impressions than me for sure. Stephen Vogt, I think, like his basketball ref takes him above the rest. His basketball ref is like the funniest thing I've ever seen. I think Greg Holland Derek Holland was really good too. I've seen some good things on him.
Yep,
but Tim
was
Dillard's
good
for me the best.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
your spectrum of impersonations is the
versatility.
best. Like you have those guys
versatility
have
off the
shtick.
charts.
Yours is, like J. Pierre and Sebia was really good at the. He did the great Tim Kirkchin.
Tim Kirkchin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me hear your Tim Kirkchin, and then we'll let you go.
I talked to 2 baseball executives yesterday talking about the waiver claims, and it's just crazy to me that you can still get moved in late August still, even though we already have the one trade deadline. So it's been really fun to watch. See that there's some really good ball clubs out there.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Oh my God, dude, that's solid. That is solid.
Yeah, I know. And Brent's on TikTok. So here's what we're gonna do, because we've got a great crew behind the scenes. We're gonna take some of what we just did over the last 15 minutes, and we'll pair Real Tim with Brent. It's gonna be gold, guaranteed. So look out for that, dude. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll repost it.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Brent. Awesome catching up, dude. You're a gem. Keep crushing it this season. We'll talk to you in the off season. All right.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. Great seeing you.
See ya.
Cheers. Great to see you. Awesome. That was incredible. I cannot wait. You know what I'm talking about, Kratz. We are going to get like some beautiful side-by-sides. One talks, then he talks, then
That'd
the
be
person
good.
he's impersonating talks again. It's going to be freaking incredible. Does anyone have shades with them? Anyone got a little shade action?
I mean, you always need shades, especially with my future so bright. I wear sunglasses inside.
Thank you.
Oh, watch out now.
Single up that handsome man. Thank you.
Get him,
Thank
Maverick.
you very much. Looking
Maverick.
good. Because we know it's still hot as hell, and it's sunny, and summer kind of carries later, especially in the Northeast. If you're in the area, you still need to get hooked up with world-class product, just as good as any expensive pair that you've ever worn, and it's called Shady Rays. Durable frames, extremely clear optics for any outdoor adventures, or sometimes even indoor adventures. If you've got a sun lamp or something. They offer the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break a pair, even on day one, they told us they're going to send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. So wear those Shady Rays with your chest, as Erik Kratz would say, and make sure you hit up their website, shadyrays.com, because it is still running. The promo code FOUL, FOUL, for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. We are already ready for our next guest.
Let's go.
Swinging for the New York Mets, making serious noise the other day. It is our perfect game player of the week, powered by Launch Hydrate. It was a big part of the perfect game world back in the day, and he's swinging in the bigs right now. The veteran DJ Stewart joining us on FT Live. There it is, your perfect game player of the week, DJ. A 2015 draftee in round 1 and went to Florida State, got it done, debuted in 2018. So let's bring him in right now. DJ, great to have you on, man. How you doing?
Hey guys, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you. Have a day the other day. Was that your favorite big league game ever, as you were a one-man wrecking machine against a competitive Texas Rangers ball club? Also, and I watched a lot of that series, after you guys fell short by a run in the previous 2 games, then you get them back.
Yeah, definitely a fun game for me. The crowd is actually chanting my name. That's the first time that's ever happened to me in my career. So that was a pretty cool experience. And then obviously coming up in the 10th and getting a walk-off hit by pitch, it was fun.
It was fun getting hit by Aroldis Chapman? I don't think so. Nobody signing up for that.
Been there.
I've faced him a lot in my career and not much success, so I'll take any way I can get on.
Hey, do you remember facing him in the COVID year with me catching? You remember that at bat?
Yeah, 3-2 and the ball's off the plate and I got rung up. Yeah, I remember that.
3-1 was just a little bit off the plate. And you turned around and you go, I think you were a rookie that year, right? That was the year you took Massa deep on a splitter, right?
Yeah, 2020. I wasn't. 2018 and 2019 was my rookie year, so I wasn't a rookie, but
Okay.
still, yeah.
Yeah, you were still kind of getting your feet wet, and it was a 3-1 pitch. All right, you're facing Chapman, and he's throwing a billion, and it was a pitch this far off, 3-1, and boom, it was an older umpire, Bill Miller maybe, I'm not sure, but anyway, banged him for a 3-2, and he did it kind of because DJ's got an incredible eye, all that stuff. He kind of did the turned around, and he was like, really, really. And I remember looking up at you and going, uh-oh, this isn't the guy you want to do this to. And the next pitch was legitimately 6 inches off. He called it, and I turned around to tell him thank you, and he was already walking off. He was going to ring you up, no doubt. So that was one at bat against Chappie where you didn't have a chance.
Exactly. You're like, this guy's throwing a billion from the left side, left on left, and now you're giving him 6 inches off. What am I supposed to do?
Nothing. I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
Hey, well, you and me have something in common. So Chapman, well, I was the first guy ever to face Aroldis in an inter-squad scrimmage. First pitch, he hit me 98 in the back knee, and I just had meniscus surgery 2 months ago there, and I was feeling great until that day. My whole leg was black and blue. I'm sure you were okay the next day as well, but I want that gives me nightmares just thinking about that.
You probably still feel that.
Oh yeah, I didn't hit well off. I was like 0 for 12 against him in my career. I want to talk about your high school career. I want to say this right. Bowles High School, Bowles?
Bowles, yeah, Bowles.
Bowles. You played with a lot of bangers back in the day, man. I mean, a lot of alumni too went there. Talk to us about the crazy, alumni you play with in, not only baseball but football as well, man. Hype them up a little bit.
Yeah, so probably the most familiar guy right now, Hayden Hurst, tight end for Carolina. It's actually a crazy story. We were both committed to go to Florida State together, play baseball. He ended up signing out of high school. When he did, he signed with Pittsburgh and didn't go the way he wanted to. So he obviously used his eligibility to go back to school and made himself a first-round tight end. He actually only played 1 year of high school football, our junior year, and went out there super raw. But you could see the talent and stuff, and it's crazy now to see him doing that. It's cool. It's crazy how the world works. Like, I went first round, 25th pick. He went first round, 25th pick. I went to Baltimore. He went to Baltimore. So it's kind of crazy.
Now let me ask you this real quick. You do fantasy football or no?
Oh yeah.
So,
we got drafts coming up.
Are you drafting him first round or no? I mean,
I don't know about first round.
Come on, it's your boy.
It is my boy, but I don't know about first round. New offense, new team. We gotta see some things first.
If he's not drafting you first round in his fantasy baseball, you're good to go, man.
yeah,
That's
sure.
good stuff. Good stuff.
All right, so first of all, I got to put it out there. Both of you guys struggled against Chappie. Not me. I'm 2 for 5 against the guy. So just saying, he's never going to get me out again, and I am so thankful for it. But
give me some tips. What you got? Give me some tips.
Yeah.
I just saw him good. I saw it out of his hand good. You got to, now that I'm not playing, I got all the answers for you. Just get your foot down earlier, and you can see it out of his hand. No, man, I got lucky. No, I want to take you back to high school again, like Todd just said. You are a 9.5 out of 10 on the PG scale, okay? The PG life is the life that my boys are living now. Well, my oldest is, and my second one is, he's getting into that, like, oh, what's his rank? Playing against guys, what's his rank? You feel like you proved them wrong? Because we've had some kids on here that are 10s, and now you're absolutely banging in New York. You should have been a 10 out of 10. Or what was holding you back?
I don't know. It's actually crazy. Like, I don't honestly, like, obviously those rankings and stuff. I have a younger brother who he's a senior right now, so he's going through all that perfect game stuff, but never really like paid attention to it. But the perfect game stuff, what could have been holding me back was football. Honestly, I didn't do a whole lot of the showcases and stuff because like the bigger showcases because of football, and maybe that's what it is. But I mean, I could tell the kids it doesn't matter what you're ranked. Just go out there and play ball, and when the lights turn on, go play.
And you had some pretty popular friends too, because DJ, I'm looking at one of your last teams that you played in PG tournaments with. Can you give us a little alumni list?
Oh yeah, so I think our lineup. I think we had Addison Russell leading off. I hit second. I had Jesse Winker behind me. Tomas Nido, who's also with the Mets. Who else did we have? Chris Oakey. I'm sure I'm forgetting guys.
Eflin? Did you say Eflin?
Yeah, I didn't say Eflin. Zach Eflin was on that team. Yeah, we had.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, and then obviously, so like the PG National or whatever, the big one that's in October. I didn't go to it, and we had guys on that team like Javi Baez, guys like that I didn't even get to play with because I was playing football. So we kind of like had different guys in there too.
Hey, I want to bring something up to you today. I don't know. I'm trying to think. You did this earlier today. You visited Queens Firehouse Engine 310 Ladder 150. I remember I played with the Mets. Anytime, September 11th came around, we would always visit a firehouse and put on the gear and have fun with that, man. Tell us about that experience and what you did. I heard you had a little action too today as well.
Yeah, it was really cool. We went to, obviously, like you said, their nickname's the Hollis Hog. So like going in there and like they're kind of just like baseball players. Like you guys know how it is, like the clubhouse, how everyone keeps it loose and everything, and just seeing that aspect of what they're doing, and obviously September 11th coming up, just kind of showing our respect for what they do and how they go about their day, and it gives you a little bit more sense of pride when you're playing in New York. When you go out there and have that across your chest and you see those guys, what they're doing in their job, it gives you a lot more pride, I think. But also, as far as the trip, so we went there. They gave us a tour of the fire station. We got to try on the gear. By the way, that stuff is heavy. I don't know how they do it. It's a nice day.
Yes.
It's a nice day in New York, and we are all sweating bullets out there. And it's like, how do you guys do this? And you're running into a fire to save someone's life. So gave us a tour. We got to go through their kind of where they run drills and stuff and break down a door. I didn't do it. One of our pitchers did. Much respect for those guys. It's incredible what they do.
All right, so you've latched on with another big league team here. Maybe it didn't go the way you wanted to in Baltimore, but you're really turning heads, man. Dude, every night I'm watching these games and seeing because I was really following the Rangers series. Do you feel like you have solidified a spot on the team next year? And don't give me the well, I'm just going to try to do what I can for the month of September. Like, part of this game is selling yourself because you've been grinding it out in the minor leagues, trying to get back. And now you've solidified yourself. You're one homer away from 10. You put together great at-bats like you always have. Like, can you just say, what else do I got to do? Or is it something that you're sitting there like, I knew I was going to do this when it was coming into the season?
I mean, obviously, as you're younger, when I got drafted and stuff, you think that you're going to light the world on fire. But, I mean, I obviously what happened to me in Baltimore – I'm glad that it did. At the time, obviously, you don't want that to happen because you're going through struggles because you want to be successful. But I think it's put me in this position that I am now to handle the success, handle the failures. I know what it's like to fail. So it makes the success a lot sweeter, honestly. I don't know if I've solidified. I mean, I definitely think that I've played well enough to get that conversation. I want to be here. But we also got to see where the organization's kind of going. Obviously, trade deadline, we made a lot of moves that opened up spots for me to play. And I'm just going to, like you said, not trying to give you that cookie cutter answer to see how September goes, but I got to take it day by day and hopefully continue to do what I'm doing and have that conversation when the season's over.
DJ, have you latched on to become tight with any one or two particular ball players on the team. You're playing with some obviously big names, and I know they traded some of those, pitchers away, but you still got, especially on like the position player side, some pretty successful, pretty rich teammates that you're playing with.
Yeah, I mean, I get to take the field with Nim in the outfield every single day. Just picking his brain. We kind of have that. He's a lefty as well, so I kind of go over conversations with guys that he's faced that maybe I haven't, kind of see what his approach is leading into the game. But I've known some of these guys even before I got here. Obviously played against Pete in college. Bogey and I played for – Bogey was on the FTB team the year before me, so had a relationship with him, Florida guy as well. But, I mean, honestly, all the guys are – Francisco too. He's an FTB guy. But just having those relationships before, it's made it a lot easier for me coming here. So the relationships are great.
So basically all your boys there they're paying for everything when they go out. Like you don't got to pay for nothing.
Hell yeah.
Is how it should be. That's how it should be. When you make your money, then you pay for other people.
Yeah, exactly. And I got a 5-month-old daughter, so I got to pay for diapers so they can handle the dinners and stuff.
No doubt. And you gotta pay for rent in New York. It ain't the same as in Syracuse, kid.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Nope. Hey, you're one of the not the older guys, but you're not a rookie. On the bus, who's the guy on the mic that has blown it away as a rookie for the Mets this year? That's done a good job and not gone into the albino.
Who's blown it away? Let me see. I'm going to give it to Brett Beatty. He's a little Texas kid, got a little Texas swag with him. He's done a good job. We've had a couple of different events. Close second, Francisco Alvarez. He's done a good job with both sides, the Spanish and English versions of what he's been doing for us. It's been really good.
Any stories you can tell us? Or songs? What song did they sing? Anything.
I don't know the name of the song, but it goes like Mucho Novia. It's a Spanish song.
Mucho Novia.
Yeah. Francisco put on a little performance for us. We went out, had a team dinner. He put on a performance for us. He killed it.
Love that.
Love that. All right, I'm going to finish with this one because Przynski's on this show with us a lot too, and I know he'd want to ask this because he's like the biggest Florida supporter ever. He knows everybody in the state, and I know what he would say. He'd go, well, DJ, I'm looking at your bio here, and you're from Gainesville, but you went to FSU, and he's a big UF guy, and you play with Pete Alonso. So can you give me the backstory on how all that went down?
Yeah. He probably isn't talking too much after that game last night. But
hell yeah, tell him. Clip this.
Yep.
Do you know what he said, DJ? He goes, this is what he said right at the end of the show, or at the end of when we were talking about what's going to happen in that game. He goes, what the fuck is a Ute? What the fuck is a Ute? We'll run it back for him on Tuesday because he found out.
He definitely found out. But so I get that question a lot, the Gainesville thing. Like when they ask you where you're born or everything, when you fill out your paperwork and stuff. I was actually born in Gainesville. My mom went to school at Santa Fe, the community college there. I was only born for like 2 weeks. Then we moved back home to Jacksonville. But when you fill out that, it says Gainesville. I don't claim Gainesville at all. I'm from Jacksonville, or Yulee if you want to be more specific. Chose Florida State. My dad's a Florida State fan. Mom was a Gator fan. Florida actually offered me before Florida State, but it didn't hit me like it did when Florida State offered me. So I knew that's where I wanted to be, and lucked out for me. Loved playing the Gators, but the real team plays on Sunday night. You guys check in.
Ooh, I hear you.
Hell yeah, let's go, baby.
Hey, I got one question for you. What was the last person to call you Demetrius Jerome and get away with it?
My mom.
Your mom?
That usually means something that I did something wrong. But I've been good lately, so I haven't heard it.
That's awesome.
Love that, dude. Well, hey, it was great catching up with you. Appreciate the time. Keep crushing it out there. Have a strong finish to the season, and we'll talk to you in the off season. All right.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you.
Thanks, DJ. Good catching up, dude. And good luck to the Knowles this weekend. And also check out launchhydrate.com for 20% off on all 4 flavors, or you can scan the QR code and make sure you use that claim code. You got to use it to get the 20% off. 20 foul launch. Get it done. We'll spend like 3-4 minutes here on not yet though. Not yet. 3-4 minutes here first on a little That's What He Said. And then we will get to 5 minutes of Immaculate Grid, but showing the world real quick what it looks like so that you can absorb it, start thinking about it a little bit.
This is the one right here, or is there be a different one?
This is the one today. Seattle KC 40-plus save season. And on the left side of the grid, I think I missed what it was, but you saw it. So absorb it, think about
Cleveland,
it.
St. Louis,
Let's do a little there you go. Let's do a little That's What He Said. Just one topic here. So Hal Steinbrenner spoke, and he said the Yankees plan to evaluate how they approach analytics in the offseason. I mean, damn, if I hear the word analytics one more time in freaking New York right now, I mean, New York fans can't get enough of that word. Here's the tweet. The Yankees, or here's the quote. We're looking to bring in possibly an outside company to really take a look at the analytics side of what we do, baseball operations in general, from Hal Steinbrenner. Kratz, I'll let you start. You're smiling.
I'm smiling because I can see Jesse on one of our cameras, and that makes me laugh. Jesse's wearing a
Jesse
Jets
behind the
jersey.
scenes. What's he doing?
He's just wearing a Jets jersey, and he was dabbing it up on the screen. It's like the dude's never been on TV before. It's like when you go to a game and like guys get on the big screen and they've never seen it. Oh my gosh, there's my face. Anyway, the Yankees. This is what you're supposed to do when things don't go well. Evaluate it. Things don't go well. Evaluate it. And anytime, whether you're analytics, whether you're old school like Todd, or you're somewhere in between, you have to ask questions. All right, why do I not like analytics? Okay, because I'm old school. Well, that's not an answer. Or it could be, because I played and I saw a bunch of numbers that, confused me. Okay, well then you can figure out how to figure out, a way to get the numbers across. Same way, analytics guys can't sit there and go, well, the numbers aren't wrong. The numbers have never been wrong. I understand the numbers have never been wrong, but you have to be able to give it to the player so he can digest it, to the manager, to the coach, whatever it is. So the fact that they're going possibly in an outside company, this is such a positive for the Yankees because it will help them maybe fill in some gaps, fill in some holes where they don't have success. And this is what really successful people do. They're okay with somebody saying, hey, you know what? You're not doing this very well. You need to improve. And you can either say, screw you, we're the Yankees. We've made the playoffs every year for 28 years. Or you can do this and say, hey, you know what? I understand. We might be behind. Or they might come out of it and say, hey, what we have is awesome. Let's keep going. We're going to get back to the playoffs again next year.
Yeah, and I think you make a good point by bringing that up. It takes a tough man to explain, listen, we got to go over all this stuff. It didn't work out, and we're going to try and find somebody from the outside. Maybe they could fix it. That's okay. You can always go back to what you did. It's okay to do that. I mean, they're the Yankees. They could do pretty much anything they want. Any team could pretty much do whatever they want. They struggled this year mightily. They didn't have a good season hitting, fielding, et cetera. And I think there is a problem there. And, the only thing I don't like about analytics is I had this happen to me one time. I was 10 from my last 20, crushing it. And then I had to go face Max Scherzer. The next day they said, oh, you're not playing today because you don't hit well against him. Well, no, not really. I'm hot. I don't care who's on the mound. So those kind of analytical things where I didn't understand, where I threw the paperwork out the window, I'm like, dude, this guy's killing it right now, and you're going to sit him because he's got bad numbers versus this guy. So stuff like that really bothered me. But at the same time, yeah, look into what's going on, try and fix it, and hopefully they can at the end of the year. And we'll see. But, that's the Yankees in a nutshell. They'll figure it out, and they'll have a good offseason, and they'll figure out management, they'll figure out players, and make the adjustment as they think needed.
Well, you know how you make adjustments? You go play the grid, okay? So we're going to hit the gritty right now.
Ooh,
right? I love the fact we got a little John for the gritty. I didn't get to see the graphic, but I'm sure everyone else did.
I love it. Can you see the graphic?
I didn't see the graphic, but I heard it. It sounded like a little gabba gabba, a little Paw Patrol.
Kratz, I've never done this yet. Do we get 5 minutes? Is that what happens? A 5-minute countdown?
You haven't done this yet? I thought you said you hadn't done it before. The last time we did it.
No, yeah, we never did it though that day.
All right.
We didn't have time.
So here it is. So we got 5 minutes. We got to figure out who played. This is where I kind of stink at it sometimes. Who played for which team, or for each team, and we'll just go from there. Hopefully, the people in the chat can help us out a little bit. But we got to get some. Tell us when we're starting the timer so that we're not getting gypped on our time here.
We're in trouble.
We're not in trouble. Okay, we're great. I'm gonna go Washington and the Royals. I want to get a hammer, Josh Willingham.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep, appreciation.
Washington and the Royals.
Washington and the Royals, the hammer. We'll stand by. We'll keep going on some of the other ones here. Cleveland and KC.
I'm going with you, big dog.
I didn't play in the big leagues with Cleveland, so that's the issue. Only AAA, so we can't get too out of the way there. But my 40 saves person is going to be for Cleveland. Did you ever face him? Did you ever face the guy who used to throw? He used to be the closer back when you played with Cleveland. Little right-hander.
Huh.
No?
I don't. Go ahead, give it to me.
Okay. I'm forgetting his name. That's why I wanted you to give it to me.
I thought you little
like St. Louis, we might get a Trevor Rosenthal. Did he get 40 saves?
Yeah, I think that's a definite. So
I think we can't cheat. We can't cheat and try to look it up. So we're going to need some extra help. Extra help. You're not allowed to look it up. All right.
Well, we got to start punching them in here.
They're going to punch them in for us. We can't punch it in. Someone else will get it for us. But they're telling us to hang on. Let's see.
Let's do the Kansas City and Washington one that you wanted there.
Yeah. Josh Willingham. Are we ready to kick it up there? Josh Willingham.
Oh, nice. I got one here.
Okay.
Nationals, Mariners. Click on that thing for me.
Nationals, Mariners.
Jose Vidro.
Ooh. Man, I like that.
That's got to be a low one, right?
What's that number? 2%? 4%?
4%. Let's go.
Okay. So St. Louis, 40 saves. Let's get a Trevor Rosenthal. What was the closer for the Nats? Rafael Soriano or Cordero? They used to call him the Chief. I forget what Cordero's first name was. I don't know if he had 40 saves though, but I'm sure Soriano had 40 saves. He just might. Yeah.
How about Seattle, St. Louis and Seattle? Remember Brendan Ryan? Didn't he play for Seattle too?
Yes.
That's got to be a low one.
That's a good one. I like that. See, we need to get more old school days. Like we gotta come up with some ones that are older guys. St. Louis. Like I feel like Phil Niekro's got to like be in all of these. Gaylord Perry for Seattle and Cleveland. Wow,
That's old. I would say that's old school. Wow.
Little 3%.
We just got to get the next three right. We can't screw this up.
Yeah, we can't screw any of them up. Okay.
Man alive. Jim Edmonds, did he play for Kansas City Royals or no?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. I just remember making that sick catch. That's probably why.
Doug Jones for Cleveland, 40-plus saves.
Mr. Jones and me. That's what he used to come out to when he was with the Phillies. Wow.
Wow. This is getting serious.
I want to know, somebody needs to, a little Tyler Clippard maybe? Bruce Chen. Chen music. That's what he used to say.
Clippard.
Nice.
Here we go.
1%. Very nice.
1%er. Chen music.
All right, finish strong. KC and St. Louis.
Somebody needs to check it for me. Did Mark Tien play for?
You can't check it.
Did
he play for what? St. Louis?
Did he play for St. Louis? I knew he played for the Royals.
Yeah, I know that too. I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't know. I don't like it enough. We're almost there.
How much time we got left?
A minute.
1 minute.
I mean, we could go this guy, but it's going to be a lot of points, I think.
Okay, well then.
Carlos Beltran.
Yeah, that's high, but we have it.
I've got
last minute.
Got one. He's a friend of mine, and he was recently revealed. John Jay. He was recently revealed
John
on
Jay.
an epic arrest story that did not actually happen.
The fake arrest?
Yeah.
I like that. I love that.
There you go.
How do we get a 53 when we doesn't add up to 53?
Soriano. I want to see if Cordero played.
It does add up. It doesn't add up to 53. Yeah, it does. You got 17 plus 14 from the.
Oh, I thought it was 1.7. I apologize.
Nah, you got 17. There you go.
All right.
Not bad. We didn't get anything wrong. So stay hot, baby. We got 3 days to think about it. Let's slap hands.
I just looked it up too. Cordero had 47 saves. Gosh darn it. I knew the Chief. The Chief was an all-star, and I didn't know. I knew it was around. That makes me angry.
Flip that hat around, baby.
What do you got, Kratzy boy? Viva Las Vegas.
No. It's Louis Vuitton. It's the one game I played for Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton actually pays me to not ever wear any of their stuff. Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, I just found in the bag of hats, like just an absolute stack of Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. I didn't even know we had this many different ones. So they're about to come rolling out. And a bunch of I won't tell you. I just found a plethora of new hats. So
nice.
Exciting day for me.
There you go.
Good job.
And a programming reminder for everyone. The live show itself, not happening on Labor Day. Enjoy your time off, everyone. But we still pump out 2 pods a day. So you'll have 2 pods a day on Saturday, on Sunday, on Monday. Catch up on some of the guests. Little Legends territory action. A lot to listen to. So in case you're chilling or you're outside or you got a long drive or you're flying, we got you covered. I look ridiculous. I can't pull off the Griffey or even the AJ.
And don't forget, today, the reason I'm played in the show as long as I did and the minors as long as I did, the queen, my wife, Sarah Kratz. Happy birthday. 26 years old.
Happy birthday, Sarah.
Wow.
Seriously, one of the best humans on the planet. I am
26
very fortunate to have met her a few times already, and we got to get a big birthday dinner going, Kratzy. Get it on the sketch.
We need it. We need it down
Let's
at the
do it.
Borgata.
Yes, at Borgata, which will be there next week and the week after, and a big announcement about the week after that. So stay tuned. September's going to be wild. Happy September to everyone. Be safe. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. And we'll talk to y'all next week. Go RU, Todd Father. Go RU.
Let's go, baby.
Don't sleep on that shirt today. Let's go.
Going golfing.